So what is the science behind drinking your own pee?
Yeah, it's more of the folklore that I know. So whatever's going wrong inside of you or dysfunctional inside of you, it's gonna teach the biocomputer like, oh, okay, because you're just tasting yourself, right? I've been able to put myself through rites of passage, spiritually, as well as very intense methodologies from actual kung fu and the ball slapping.
You mentioned ball slapping earlier. What's that?
So my friend, he's a total man's man, and one day he sends me this video of him naked getting out of the shower, and I'm like, this guy's no homo. I'm like, what's this all about? And he starts slapping his balls. And like, I call him out. I'm like, what the fuck is that, dude? And he goes, yeah, it's ancient Chinese secret.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I got with me someone who's going to change your perspective on a lot of different things and a lot of useful things, I believe. Troy Casey, how's it going?
Yeah, hey, Sean, thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you just authored a new book, right?
Yep, Ripped at 50. Actually came out a couple of years ago. It's doing really well. And then I have my second book that's 75% done. It's called
Nice.
Brave New Man. It's an allegory of the Aldous Huxley dystopian novel from the 60s or 70s, I do believe. And so it's just about all the stuff that we've been through the last 4 years and a culmination of that and then facing that as a man. And then my third book, I'm almost 60, and my first book was hashtag Ripped at 50,
Yeah.
and my third book will be hashtag D at 60. I've gained 30 pounds since
Oh, yeah?
I did that book, and so
You still look good for 60, man.
thanks, brother. I'll be 58 at the end of the year, so
Okay.
I got a couple of years to go, and but I like that D moniker. I'm a big hip hop fan.
No, I love it, man. So what's the secret? Because, I mean, at 58, looking great. Is this all natural?
All natural. I teach my clients how to do it all natural, without
Nice.
TRT, without synthetic hormones, without any kind of plastic surgery. And so nature, sunlight, relationships, nutrition, getting your nutrition on point, so important, especially in today's day and age when the food supply has been contaminated. Water, we're 70% water. Your brain's 90%, so getting the purest water that you can. Detoxing the body from heavy metals and pollution, et cetera. And so I have 9 pillars of health in my book, 7 factors of stress and that destroy health, and 5 detoxification pathways that restore health. And so I keep everything in that curriculum, keep it very simple. There's nothing new under the sun. We all know to go to bed when the sun goes down. And we've just gotten a little far away from that. The 20th century brought in streetlights and other technologies that have kept us up. And we're reaping the benefits or the problems from that right now. You got 70% of the American people that are obese or overweight, and you got 9 out of 10 Americans are metabolically dysfunctional.
Oh.
And so my job, my stated mission and vision is to get the world healthy, plain and simple.
Man, there's a lot to unpack there. So I want to start with the sun stuff because you do some unique stuff with the sun. You charge your butthole, right?
Charge the butthole. I get naked sun. I get as much sun as possible. I live in the desert like you.
Yeah.
I've got a business associate. He's Italian blood, but he does 2 hours, one on each side in noon sun in the desert. In the
So
valley
one
of the
on
sun.
the belly and then one on the back?
Yeah, so that's a little dramatic. That's not my style, but I am out in the sun, I would say, for at least an hour a day.
Okay.
I get as much sun saturating my body as possible. I know what nutrition to put inside my body that protects me antioxidant-wise. And then for sunscreen, I wear a hat or a shirt, and I have various skincare products. They're mainly just made out of plants, and so essential oils and plants. Maybe coconut oil.
Yeah.
Real all natural stuff.
Got
and I've been able to keep my skin looking great. Your skin is a reflection of your insides. And I've got 33 years of fasting, internal purification, juicing. And so I'm a big proponent on herbs and superfoods and juice, micronutrition to give you all the vitamins, minerals, enzymes, antioxidants, resveratrol, terpenes, all the things that aren't available in the commercial food supply, like lettuce,
Right.
cucumbers, tomatoes, those types of things.
That makes sense.
So branching out into herbs and berries and barks that have traditionally given us powerful nutrition. We just got a little far away from nature.
Yeah. I mean, now there's so many genetically modified fruits. I don't even know which ones are good to eat. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. They're all hybrided. I
Yeah.
mean, I love watermelon and the seedless watermelons. They give me an anaphylactic reaction. I cough. And then
Wow.
I was just in the desert recently, coming from LA, going to Joshua Tree, and there was a little sign on the side of the road, and it said heirloom watermelons. 0.2 miles that way.
Yeah.
And I totally went over there, and the guy, it had seeds in it, and it
Mhm.
was the best tasting watermelon of all summer. I bought 3 of them
Wow.
actually, and so yeah, try and get the heirloom stuff, the wild stuff, as much as possible because
Mhm.
we've been domesticated, and I think that's creating a lot of the softness and sickness, and especially the softness in men,
Mm.
especially.
Yeah, you don't really see those natural fruits at grocery stores. You kind of got to go to like farmers markets, right?
Farmers markets, I recommend for sure, and working with the farmers directly,
Hmm.
and wherever you can source it. Natural Grocers in the Southwest is a good company,
Yeah,
and Sprouts has some good organics as well. So you just got to shop around, but hit up the farmers market, support those farmers as much as possible.
absolutely. Before Bill Gates buys them all.
Yeah, and I encourage people to grow their own food as well. I haven't upgraded myself yet. I'm still living in the matrix,
Hmm.
and I like to use the matrix as a tool. But I am doing a survival skills workshop in the Superstition Mountains next weekend with my daughter for 4 or 5 days, and they grow food up there and collect all their own water and live off grid. And
Nice.
so I need to get back to the land. I grew up in the cities myself. Paris, Milan, Tokyo, Miami.
Hmm.
Most of my adult life, and now it's time for me to dance between the matrix and nature. I
Yeah.
mean, you saw what happened in the last 4 years. So I moved from LA to Sedona, and now I'm in Scottsdale. But my mind is in the mountains and
Yeah.
somewhere a little bit more remote that is closer to the food. My grandmother, when I studied the Great Depression in elementary school, I
Hmm.
came home and I said, "Grandma, where were you? What happened?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And she goes, "Nothing. We were in Minnesota on a farm. We didn't. We weren't affected whatsoever."
Wow.
Yeah. So, you're close to the land. I mean, there's only 4 human needs, right? There's water, there's food, there's shelter, and fire. Fire is represented by technology, like these devices that we're using, or the car, et cetera. And so, I don't believe that we have to throw technology out, the baby out with the bathwater. I think that we can use technology and make it our whipping boy so it serves humanity as opposed to the way things are potentially going right now,
Yeah.
where it's here to enslave people.
Absolutely. So you mentioned drinking the purest form of water earlier. With microplastics being rampant everywhere, what kind of water are you drinking? Is it glass only?
I do have a glass water bottle that I collect my water in. So reverse osmosis is usually the most available water system for me to get pure water. And then the more videos I make on water, the more people are confused about it. So I just say get the best source that you can without going neurotic. So I'll go through it as fast as I can. But wild water from a spring that's been tested is best. And I go to Sedona often
Mhm.
from Scottsdale and get my water from there sometimes. If that's not available, I get reverse osmosis, which basically zeroes out most of the contaminants, or distilled. And then from there, I structure it with a vitalizer, which whips it up into a vortex over a coral calcium charge. So it remineralizes it and lowers the surface tension so it's more absorbable. Because it's not the water that you really want; it's the hydrate, it's the mineralization that you want that hydrates the body. If you're putting in water that's denatured, you're going to end up just urinating it, and you're going to be using your kidneys as the filter.
Mm.
So you want, higher quality water. I also have ionic minerals, so I drop minerals in them, and then I also have a molecular hydrogen machine somebody gave me. Being an influencer, people they give you stuff.
Yeah.
I only do stuff that's aligned with my values, and this machine is actually a very powerful machine, and it is the most studied molecule on planet Earth.
Oxygen.
molecular hydrogen.
Mm.
And so the machine that someone gave me is the Lourdes Hydroflix, and it was developed in Japan. So super high technology, and it makes it stable. And it's not that stable if you after 30 minutes, the hydrogen's gone. So you have to drink it right
Oh,
away.
really?
And you can actually put on the masks for the nose, and you can breathe it in as
Oh,
well.
cool.
And so I've had that for about 3 years. So you asked me like the secret, but there's so many things that I do that are baked into my lifestyle
Yeah.
that are just non-negotiables or things around my house. Like before I woke up here, this is a travel day, so I woke up at 4:30 a.m. I popped into a hot Epsom salt bath that helps my body relax. It
Mm.
remineralizes me. I put some borax in there for the nanotechnology, and we've got nanotechnology and nanobots and all sorts of stuff in our environment from industrial waste and
Mm.
these experiments that are being done right now as we advance through technology. And so the borax is excellent for that. And these are all just minerals that naturally chelate heavy metals and cleanse and detox the body. Baking soda, Epsom salts, fulvic acids, minerals, and borax. And that helped me relax. And then I got on a plane and I had plenty of good water. I like to live fasted most of the day. So
Yeah. So you only eat one meal a day?
one or two. I started eating anything solid pretty much after about 2
Okay.
o'clock in the afternoon. I like to have my mind and cognitive function there. I don't want to be bogged down by metabolism. I usually train fasted.
Mm-hmm.
I have essential amino acids that I use that build muscle and
Got it.
don't waste your muscle tissue. And so I brought you some superfoods as
Yeah,
well.
I'm excited. I'm all about this health stuff, man, for real.
Yeah, I mean, good because you're smart and you've got a successful podcast, so you're going to get hip to a lot of stuff really quick.
Yeah.
And if you want to be healthy in this world, just look around. You're in Vegas, baby. Just look
Yeah.
around. They're
I
not
mean, they
healthy.
make it so easy to not be healthy.
Mhm,
It's like you kind of got to fight against it and do your own stuff.
mhm.
Because I was probably eating unhealthy food for most of my life, I'd say.
And me too. I mean, I went through that journey. Captain Crunch and Pop Tarts. I grew up
Right.
in the United States of America. Uh, uh, TV dinners, right in the
Yeah.
70s, and so my mom fed me good food, but also the junk food was there. McDonald's was there.
Mm.
But now, because of GMOs got introduced in about 1996, glyphosate was introduced to the market, I do believe, in the 80s versus a desiccant. It has 3 patents, but since the GMOs, it has been an herbicide for GMO corn, soy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's ubiquitous and pervasive. So they found it in the Arctic, women's breast milk, fetal tissue. It's everywhere.
Terrible.
And it kills off the good bacteria in the gut microbiome. And so you have to be a little bit of a certified health nut just to be marginally healthy
Yeah,
these
for real.
days.
And you're trying all sorts of methods. I've seen you dabble in urine therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the science behind drinking your own pee?
Yeah, it's more of the folklore that I know of it. And so it's hair of the dog. So whatever's going wrong inside of you or dysfunctional inside of you, it's gonna teach the biocomputer like, oh, okay, because you're just tasting yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a little bit in the morning, and the topical I really like for the skin as well. I do use it for my skin.
So, you pee on your skin?
I pee in a mason jar and I let it ferment
Got it.
for a couple weeks.
And then it hardens and then you apply it.
It darkens.
Okay.
I think if you leave it out in the sun enough, it has hardened enough. But yeah, it darkens, it concentrates, and it's
Okay.
it's extremely powerful. I've done a lot of ayahuasca in the Amazon rainforest, and smelling this and just and I've drank it as well because it's good for parasites,
Mm.
and just getting it anywhere near your oral cavities, your nasal cavities, your mouth, is very powerful.
Mm.
Very powerful. And then when I put it on my body and then I'll go work out, like I'll lay in the sun for a while, I'll put it on my body, and then it feels like I get a huge pump.
Wow.
And I've never done anabolic steroids, but I can only imagine, I just feel pump. I feel vascular. And I'm not really a science guy. I'm an intuitive guy.
Mhm.
Like if it makes sense, if it seems natural, if the yogis did it, if the ancient Chinese qigong masters tried it, I'm gonna give it a try. I
Yeah.
got nothing to lose. I work with Maori healers from New Zealand for many years. They're known as the bone crushers. They'll step on your calves and the back of your skull, and I've seen them do miracles on people. So the human body can handle an extreme amount. Uh, the human body is resilient, and when you give it enough stimulus, it will automatically heal itself. That's what
Hmm.
happens with fasting and autophagy. And so, and we're not taught these mechanisms in school, but the body will heal itself. So I've been able to put myself through rites of passage, spiritually, as well as very intense methodologies from the actual kung fu and the ball slapping, but also they have this technique called paida, ancient Chinese medicine,
Hmm.
where they just slap the out of your meridians, back of your knees, inside of your um, you can do underneath these lymph nodes as well. And if you're really toxic, it'll bleed or it'll get really black and blue. And somebody did a documentary on me. It's on YouTube, Sky Cowan, Sky Life on YouTube, and they slapped the shit out of me on camera. And it was extremely powerful. But what drove me to do it was my CrossFit people, some really fitness aficionados that I knew. They had bum knees,
Hmm.
and they had issues with their knees, and they had it done, and the issues vaporized. So I was like, I'll try it. Um,
Wow.
and it was,
So just slapping the back of your knee can heal it?
yeah, it's like you'll see it in the video, but Sky Cowan's document, A Day in the Life of a Certified Health Nut, I think it's called.
Mhm.
But yeah, you just start slapping. All your meridians go through, the whole body. We have 5 meridian highways, like the fingers and the toes. They're energetic highways that go through the body.
Mhm.
And so they slapped me here, the inside of my thighs, and that was extremely painful. And then the back of the knees.
And they're just using their hands, or is it like a
So
paddle?
you can use your hands, but I think it's going to hurt eventually. And they were using a silicone hand.
Got it.
It was designed for this. PAIDA, you spell PAIDA.
Wow, man, I love all this new stuff you're trying. You mentioned ball slapping earlier. What's that?
So my friend is Rhino Ryan Hughes. He's the motocross champion of the world forever and ever. And big shout out to Rhino. And so Rhino's a animal, and I know him because Paul Chek. He's the leader in sports fitness and rehabilitation, and Paul helped him and Robbie Madison, Danny Way from a broken neck, Laird Hamilton from his hip replacement. He's helped a lot of people, and so I met Rhino through him. And Rhino had a lot of spinal cord injuries over the years. He's got plates and screws all up in him, and he's a total man's man. And one day he sends me this video of him naked getting out of the shower, and I'm like, "This guy's no homo." I'm like, "What's this all about?" And he starts slapping his balls. And like, I call him up. I'm like, "What the is that, dude?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's ancient Chinese secret." And so I tried it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" It's like getting kicked in the balls, and the
Yeah.
energy goes right up into your kidneys.
Huh.
But I have a actual kung fu teacher named Lauren, and he studied underneath Montauk Chia, who wrote the multi-orgasmic couple and the Tao for healing, or he's got like 35 books, and so he's a very knowledgeable person on kung fu and the internal arts and how to cultivate your energy, which is our power as a human.
Hmm.
And I cross-referenced it with him, and he goes, "Yeah, slapping, kneading, rolling, it doesn't matter." And I had already learned how to roll my many years ago, studying with my actual kung fu coach, and she told me that there's tons of vascularity and blood flow and lymph flow that goes into the testes, and as we age, it dries out.
Mm.
So there's exercises where you stick your tongue out and then you rotate all your junk one way and then the other way. And you can actually tie heavy weights onto there, and you can increase the size and girth of your. And but more importantly, I see this in the gym. So I live in Scottsdale, and there's a lot of guys my age, and there's a lot of guys at my age on steroids over there too, and peptides and all sorts of unnatural stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, we have obesity, and a lot of people are overweight. But I see the nuts and the wiener get sucked into the body,
Mm.
right? And my
Hangs.
it hangs
Right.
and it flows. And so I'm like, I'm glad I got into that a long time ago. And so you're supposed to knead your balls. You don't have to slap them, but I
So
like
you
to
just grasp them and like massage it.
and roll them. The
Roll them like a
golden
circle.
elixir, yes. Roll them like a circle. You can also roll them this way. You can get into your groin. I just taught a class of actual kung fu at Bhakti Yoga Fest last week in Joshua tree, and I posted it on my Facebook. You might be able to find it over there. But you get in there and you move it around, you massage, because you have lymph flow, blood flow, and chi flow. Chi is the energy of life. When you have low chi, eventually you're dead. And your Jing life force energy in Chinese methodology is in your kidneys. And so, and when you slap them, you can feel the energy go all the way up into the kidneys.
Wow.
And then 2-3 years later, now I'm addicted to it. I get out of a cold bath or a cold shower, and you slap the balls, it's going to heat the body up. But it's so exhilarating. And lo and behold, this type of activity increases semen production and testosterone, because that's where your testosterone is manufactured. So you couple that with the sunlight, and it only makes sense. The sun is electrically charged, right? It's a big heat ball, and then your magnetism comes from the earth. Electricity comes from the sun.
Wow.
So you got the electromagnetism. So you're grounded to the earth. You got the sunlight on you. You're stimulating the chi that's coursing through you as it is. You got good nutrition. You're moving your body so the body doesn't get stagnant. I invest a lot of money in manual therapy, massage therapy. I keep my tissues supple. I do yoga. I move. I got electric bikes, and I move all day, every day. I don't like to sit in my car.
Nice.
And so my family doesn't like that too much, because they always want me to drive them. But I'm like, I don't want to drive. Let's just get on the bikes.
Yeah.
And so,
wow, fascinating. So you have super high testosterone, but you also participate in the movement. So how are you controlling those sexual urges?
well, Kung Fu and these are practices, not perfection. And I think Joe Rogan said it really good on one of his podcasts. And he said something to the effect, and this is my philosophy as well, the pendulum swings both ways. So if we go complete abstinence, if we let that go, boom, here's complete debauchery. So it's a good idea to find some balance, because complete abstinence, what do we have over there? Oh, let's look at the Catholic Church, right? They cut them off from sexual activity.
Right.
And when they've got nothing, it's a church,
Right.
And not that this is new news. In 2015, Spotlight won the Academy Award, right, for the churches in Boston that were pushing these beneath the rugs. I don't know if you remember seeing that movie, but it's well documented. So if you want to, it's the most powerful force the human being has. And so if you're going to stifle that, it makes sense that the priests would try and diddle the choir boys, and you've heard all this controversy over it. And that can spread into even worse debauchery. And some of this we see and hear on the internet, potentially about government officials. And of course, we've got the trafficking as well. And so, and then we've got mind, and then we've got the hookup culture and feminism, and what did that really do for the culture? And then we don't honor, our nakedness, and it's all this embarrassment thing. And I'm here to teach people that there is no shame or guilt in being a human being. And so, and I think that it wouldn't be so bad if we were naked, if we didn't have porn. But because we have porn, our mind is wrapped around that. Now, when I go down to the Amazon, and I worked in the Amazon for many years, when I go down to the Amazon and they have their shirts off and they're girls, or they're walking around naked, it's to no consequence to them.
It's normal.
Yes. And so obviously technology has crept even deep into the Amazon, but there are still some tribes, and they don't wear shirts or bras, and it's hot down there.
Yeah.
People talk smack about me on the internet wearing no shirt all the time. I don't like to have my clothes on.
You're like Liver King.
I want my stuff to breathe.
Yeah.
Well, Liver King, God bless his soul. I like the guy, but you can't be lying to people on the internet. And the internet's full of this right now. And I have point of contention with that. And the people are confused. And I'm here to get the people healthy. And so people out there, you want to recognize, what is and what is steroids, and what is peptides, and what is plastic surgery, and then what natural looks like.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of natural out there. And I believe that we can save the world if everyone just took care of their own real estate. And they have these basic fundamental principles. And so we all keep our side of the street cleaned. If we just did that, I'm not perfect living in the world, but I do ride my bicycle. I do use locomotion. I try not to use any extra detergent or buy extra clothes that I don't need. And I love fashion, right? I grew up in it forever, but I try and use the least amount of stuff as possible and make the least amount of impact because I'm aware of what this does to the environment. And I live in the environment. I'm in symbiotic relationship with the environment. And so I want to change the world. So I got to change myself first.
Love that. I've also seen you talk about the dangers of EMF and how there's ways to protect yourselves. How are you protecting yourself from all this EMF radiation?
Grounding, first and foremost. So electromagnetic radiation and frequencies, were being bombarded. There's new technology, right? First it was radio, then it was sonar, then it was radar. And so there's all sorts of new technologies out there. And we don't know exactly how that affects the human body. There's a good book called The Invisible Rainbow.
Mm.
You can read about it there, where it goes back into history. And I think the Spanish flu came out during the advent of sonar, right? And so just look into that book, and it makes sense because if things are frequency, everything in the universe, as Tesla said, can be understood by energy, frequency, and vibration. And so if harmonic frequencies come out of something like Mozart or forest bathing and going deep into the forest or remote areas that have the cacophony of insects and animals and these natural frequencies that can be very healing and harmonic, then what does static microwave ionization do to the human biocomputer, the electromagnetic field that we are as human beings? And we have a toroidal electrical field coming out of us through our root chakra and up into our crown chakra, and it spins around the whole body. And so the higher you can get your vibration, the higher you can get your amperage, the more, I think they measured in angstroms, I think, at the cellular level. And so, and you recognize that in someone that is vital, that does have that type of energy, that glowing energy, the spark in their voice, all of that, that's the chi, that's the energy. And that's what we're all after ultimately, but we've been bamboozled and sold a bunch of stuff that does the opposite of that. So with electromagnetic frequencies, I keep the phone away from me as much as possible. We are in Las Vegas right now.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi in here is incredible. It's off the hook. So when I go or leave, or I'll go out and ground myself into the grass across the street, or maybe I'll wait till I get home. I have grounding shoes. I wear earth runners. I wear grounding shoes. They're grounded to the earth. So if I touch a grounding point on the earth, that's going to off gas that electromagnetic frequency, that voltage, that wattage, that fire that's inside of my body.
I need to buy those. That sounds cool.
Yeah, the earth runners are friggin' magical. I love them.
Nice.
And then when I get home, I'll go in the desert. I'll do some barefoot walking. My house has stone in it, so I get grounded and I get into the sunlight. I'll take my clothes off, and I'll stretch out my body. I like to do a lot of dead hangs. I like to decompress my spine. So I allow the electricity to continue to flow freely through my body, and I've had enough awareness that now it's all intuitive. But if you just go out into nature or go camping for a week, you'll get the same healing mechanism. Anybody listening to this podcast, you can take yourself even out into farther remote areas, or even go to the Grand Canyon, and just stay there for 10 days and see what happens. 7 to 10 days, whatever you can get a camping spot for, and you'll reset your system. You don't know how good you feel until you start to feel good.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I went to Sedona. I felt like a new man leaving Sedona.
Yeah, because that is a healing vortex. I lived there for 2 years. That place is no joke. And people always want to know, who do I see and where do I go and what do I do? The land, baby. Just go out on the trails. Anywhere will do. And if you can go jump in the creek too, the cold water will help you. But the iron ore that makes those red rocks, it collects all that electromagnetic energy. And that's what creates the vortex, the vortices.
Love it. I saw in one of your clips, you mentioned Hollywood and how they sort of manipulate the way people think. What did you mean by that?
Well, the black magician's wand comes from the tree of holly.
Is that a quote from somewhere? Or
That's the truth. The black magician's wand, the magician's wand comes from the wood of a Hollywood tree, the wood of a holly tree.
Oh,
Hollywood.
I didn't know
So
that.
they're weaving the black magic, right? You got Black's dictionary law, right? And then everyone's caught inside that legal system, not the law. You are the law because you are the living man. You are the living land, air, and water. That is the law, right? And the only law that there is don't tread on me. Said another way, do no harm, take no. You should have the ability to protect yourself and your livelihood and your family. And so that is the only law of the land. It just so happens that the United States of America wrote those God-given rights on a piece of paper. So they've got the legalese all bound. And then John D. Rockefeller, who started the American Medical Association and the educational system, he was already into monopolizing everything that ran the oil, from the railroads to the docks and everything, and so it's really about control. And now, if you follow history, the Rockefellers, they did Chase Manhattan Bank, and they also did the creature from Jekyll Island in 1913. I think it was Warburg, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, and the Rothschilds. They met and they dreamed up the Federal Reserve and the central banking. So the central banking, the media keeps everything in place. The media is Hollywood, so everything's manufactured. The news reports are all pay to play, including what they're reporting on, right? So, seed oils and canola oils are heart healthy for you. Get off the saturated fat. What did that do? That was in the 70s and the 80s when I grew up as a kid. What did that do to us? Putting people on grains and seed oils made us all fat and sick.
Right.
And so, and then you've got petrochemical byproducts that are in pharmaceutical drugs, and you have them in pesticides and herbicides. It's actually, the petroleum helps the pesticides and the herbicides stick to the plants. And so you have all these petrochemical byproducts and plastics, plasticizers, forever chemicals. They're all baked into the environment. Now, oil brought us to one point, and we're here. Manifest destiny. We're here. Now what? We can do better. This is a clarion call out to all human beings that we can do better. We can call in forth free energy. Nikola Tesla already invented it. We can harness the energy that's in a cubic square meter of space. And so 0-point technology, cold fusion. If the Wright brothers can fly like an eagle and everyone told them they were crazy, and Napoleon Hill talks about whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So we only need to speak into existence free energy that Nikola Tesla was already working on. We can get free, unlimited, wireless energy, just like wireless technology, wireless cell phone. So free, unlimited, wireless energy, right? To power our cars, to power our houses, everything. Free and clear. All we have to do is keep speaking it into existence, because humankind, that's what we were designed to. I like the folklore that I learned a long time ago. There's, I think the Hebrew language has 72 words for God, and one of them is El. The ancient word El means God. And so the El bow bows to God with the tithes and offerings to put down the alimentary tract. Depending on what we feed it, God bows back to us in the bow L's, right? And then again, depending what we feed the alimentary tract, the river of life or the river of death. And I do believe we have a death wish with these conduits, the money machines, the Hollywood, these types of things. What's being promoted on the conduits, the channels right now, the river of life or the river of death, then we are gifted back with the power of vowel, which allows us to create and affect matter. Sound affects matter, and this is how we create anything that we see in the world. And anything that is not nature, like everything in this room, was created first in the mind of man.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah, Tesla was onto something for sure. He knew something. Man, this is mind-blowing stuff. Troy, it's been super fun, man. Anything you want to promote or close off with?
Yeah, I have my new program. I teach men their legacy, point them in the right direction, fitandfreelegacy.com. Join me over there, and join me on any of the social media outlets. I've been making videos for almost 20 years now, and I'm here to get the world healthy. God bless.
Do it. Let's get healthy, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.